We're with Diane Dwyer and Brittany Blouch. I said your names correctly, right?
It's Blouch, but it's okay.
Are you kidding me? I've been calling you Blouch this whole time.
It's okay. I rarely
You
ever
can never,
correct people.
yeah, you'll never figure it out phonetically.
Yeah.
Why would
you
they?
just have to be told.
Oh my goodness! Well,
It's crazy because they're Germans, so they're like, oh, ch. It's actually Blouch with like a hard K. So
So we're here with Diane Dwyer, and Brittany Blouch.
That's exactly how you say it.
And you can introduce yourself. So.
I'm Brittany Blouch.
And I'm Diane Dwyer.
Okay, so how did we start designing Kinsherf's coat?
That's a good question. I think we started with the idea that we wanted to take a sort of everyday traditional set and put a twist on it, something that you might not expect.
Mm-hmm. I think we both wanted it to be as if any play could go on our set, but also that it had a very unique look.
Mm-hmm. So you could imagine all sorts of scenes taking place in, say, a kitchen, which is what we ended up choosing for our inspiration. And we were really inspired by looking at sets of Waiting for Godot and thinking about how this one object in that play, obviously a tree, kind of centers their play. Mm-hmm. And with ours, it would be obviously the kitchen.
Yeah. It's not an object, it's a room.
What object?
We have the coat rack that sort of echoes the shape of the tree.
Yeah, and we had played with the idea of like building it around that, but it didn't ring true as much to the idea of expectations.
Yeah. So then the idea of making a shadow from the scenic elements. Originally we had been thinking two-dimensional flats of shadows of normal-sized furniture. But then we came across these tiny, like children's-sized chairs and tables. And we thought that was a fun play on what the theater goer expects to see when they look at the scenery on a stage, and how actors would not fit in those without looking absurd.
Right. Or they'd be wondering, like, are there actual children in this play? Or is this, like, are we just going to be, like, cracking up the whole time as these actors try to play in chairs that are too small for them and plates that obviously can hold one bite of food?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that was when the idea of having the physical object itself be the shadow, the normal-sized adult table and chairs, and how this sort of really mundane, everyday, physical object becomes the background.
It's almost as if the objects that you use every day kind of become part of your routine, mm-hmm. and kind of fade into the background of importance. But something as simple as like a child-sized furniture, you don't use that every day, and it becomes a little different and a little more special to have a table that is obviously no one uses this every day unless you're a child and it's for play. Like you don't actually get served food. I don't know, maybe you do. Mm-hmm. And it's almost as if the idea of being a child becomes more important than the actual object that you're using.
Yeah, interesting. And then it plays on the idea of play and sort of what children do and what theater actors do, and imitating life.
Yeah, and we haven't even talked about the colors yet. We really wanted to take these everyday objects and what do we do?
Sort of reduce them to form.
Yeah, just like the shadows would be a reduction of that object, by reducing them to one color and kind of taking away the special intricacies of that piece of furniture, you're reducing it down to just what it is, a yellow chair or a flat that resembles a chair.
Mm-hmm. And that also sort of reckons back to sort of the Waiting for Godot and that sort of scenic design where things are monochrome. we expanded it a little bit and to be multiple colors, but still very reduced palette.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we hope you enjoy the scenic design for Kinsherf's coat.
Yes.
The end.
I think pretentious at all. I learned so much. I can't wait for your master class.
Yeah.
We joined class together.
We like dug into every possibility.
You really did, and you didn't get to. But did you want to touch on the ephemeral or whatever the word was you were looking for?
yeah.
I haven't pressed stop yet. I can always edit.
Oh, okay.
I'm just playing with you. But if you really do want
Yes.
to talk to
Yeah,
them,
yeah,
by all
yeah.
means.
Yeah, I like it.
It takes the form of the everyday kitchen table.
I'm sorry. Say that
Yeah.
again because I do apologize.
It takes the usual form of an everyday kitchen table that's so fundamental and solid in our daily life and turns it into something more transient and ephemeral, like a shadow. Something that is there for a second and then gone.
Ooh, if only they could see that facial expression. That was worth waiting for. Thank you so much. Thank you both.